This TikTok is only for black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them and they've left. And they're much happier as a black person outside of America. Where'd you go? And what's it like? Also, is it LGBTQ friendly? Because I can't. For black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them.
Hey guys, so my girlfriend and I moved to Mexico 6 months ago and we absolutely love it. The people here are very welcoming, they are very kind, they are very nice, everyone's super helpful. We haven't run into any issues with being black and LGBTQ here. Some of the things that I absolutely love about living here, the cost of living. We were able to cut our bills more than in half. Access to healthcare is super easy. If you need to make an appointment with the doctor, you can probably get in, if not that same day, that next day, and it's super affordable. We're able to do things like go to the amusement park, go to the aquarium, eat out every other day, if not every day, at a very affordable cost. Overall, our quality of life has increased so much. We are so much happier outside of the US. We feel safer outside of the US. We feel more accepted outside of the US. So if you are thinking about doing it, you absolutely should.
Black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them and they've left.
Bonjour, moi j'habite à Paris, mais je suis du sud de Californie, spécifiquement Long Beach. J'ai habité là et je suis grandi là. And my favorite thing about living out here is I don't gotta worry about shit getting shot up. I don't have to worry about gun violence on a daily basis like I do in America. If there's a creepy man, do what men do, and they catcall me, I'm not concerned that he might pull a gun out on me. You know, I feel more confident in my ability to defend myself. If there's a white supremacist and a racist, and trust me, they out here. I'm not worried about him shooting me just because I'm black. That's not to say that there ain't no crime out here. Like, I still gotta be on my P's and Q's and watch myself, but I'm not concerned about that specific type of violence. I could sit in a park, I could go to the mall, go to the metro, and I'm not worried about like, well, what if there's a mass shooting? What if I'm gonna be a victim of gun violence today? I'm not worried about that. And that type of lack of anxiety is motherfucking priceless to me.
This TikTok is only for black people who have lived in America and decided it's not.
So go back and look at that first video. Really cool. So I was not like anti-America or anything like that, but I was ready. I was tired of the paying rent, the hustle and bustle. I was a teacher, and then I said F it. I said let me go ahead and apply to teach abroad during a pandemic, and I did it. I got engaged, met some great people. I live in the Middle East. My school pays my rent. I live in a really nice place. The place is like right over here. Transportation to and from work. Tax-free salary. So yeah, and I'm getting married in approximately 10 months. And my fiance lives in Italy. That's it.
For black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them and they've left.
So, if you've been following me for about a minute, right, then you know that I have moved to Bali for about 3 months. And before even Bali, I have traveled to multiple countries and have had a lot of experience in different environments. I feel like I'm able to kind of give you an idea of things, right? But I also want to give you some pros, but also some cons, because I don't feel like the cons are talked about enough. Biggest pro was my mental health. Okay, so before I left for Bali, I had really bad anxiety, really bad depression. You feel me? All the works. Okay, so when I left for Bali, I obviously didn't just like go away, but I think that being in a different society and adopting what's important to them made it important to me. Had really helped. And like one of the main things that's important to them, and they might not necessarily acknowledge it, but it's patience. And let me tell you, them motherfuckers take their time. And that really helped me slow down and be patient with myself. Obviously, another pro is the cost of living. You feel me? That's just an obvious one. It's ridiculously cheaper. But that also rose into my cons. Because of the cost of living being so cheap and people moving there, I've had a run-in with locals and them having an issue with people moving there because of gentrification. I mean, you have to think. People in Hawaii don't even want people from the same country moving to Hawaii because of the cost of living will go up. So, you know, how would other countries feel? So you will receive backlash for that. That's just something to keep in mind. Also mentioning like LGBTQ friendly, I'm gonna just say this. In how many places is it legal for same-sex marriages? It's not that they're yelling it from the rooftops like America, but just keep in mind, where is it legal? Right. So just think about that. Colorism is very much still alive, and I need people to think about that, because you have to think, and these people in these third world countries or not, a lot of people want to get to America, right? A lot of people aren't able to get to America, but they romanticize it through what? Media. And we have a big thing in media about what is being displayed, what is representation. So people have this idea of what a black woman should look like, or what, beauty is. And if you are not that, they kind of looking like, hold on, wait a minute. You know what? I take back calling them cons. I think they're just things to think about and to take into consideration. You feel me? Still go, still move. Just be cautious and be mindful. That's it.
For black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them and they've left.
So it got deleted last time by TikTok, but I'm still gonna give you guys my perspective. I live in Merida, Mexico, and I've lived here for going on 9 months. Damn. And I absolutely love it here. I love it here. I have an apartment, I have friends. It's not what they told you it is. They lied. And I absolutely left the United States because I was tired of being poor and black and basically a fucking victim. You gotta take control of your life and get the fuck on. So, yeah.
This TikTok is only for black people who have lived in America and decided it's not.
Yes, I live in Spain, and it was one of the best decisions that I've ever met. I live in an incredible big town, touristic town that's about 45 minutes south of Madrid. Healthcare here is virtually cheap. If you have any sort of residency, you get free public health care with the option of paying for private health care. And private health care is only $40 to $45 a month. No co-payments at all. And that includes dental. Now, as far as feeling comfortable about being a black person that is living in a foreign country, I braced myself. I honestly think a lot of black people suffer from undiagnosed PTSD because I braced myself when I moved here because I had expectations of how I was going to be treated by Europeans because of how I was treated by white Americans in the United States. The only time that I've experienced racism, now racism absolutely exists everywhere you go. I've heard of stories of some of my friends who live in bigger cities like Madrid and Barcelona who has experienced racism. Me personally, I have not. Actually, I have. The only time I've experienced racism was from white Americans that came to the town that I live in. I want to say over 10 times I've experienced racism from white Americans that came to Spain. Crazy. The view that I have can't get better than this. Check this out. This is where I live. I live near a castle and the old town. It's incredible. Hey, kitty.
They've left, and they're much happier as a black person outside of America. Where'd you go?
Hey friend, I just wanted to make sure that you rule out a country that I'm sure a couple of people might be suggesting because of healthcare and maternity leave and stuff like that. But I just wanted to make sure that you just, don't consider it. And that's Canada. Canada is populated by the same kind of people that live in America. So if you're trying to find shelter from whatever's going on in America, unfortunately, here is not the place. Even though our racism is friendlier and it's more polite, we're going to apologize if we don't hire you because we can't pronounce your name, or we're going to apologize if we shoot you by accident. Canada isn't the place. So I just wanted to make sure that you rule out Canada from any suggestions from the community. That's it. Bye.
Who have lived in America and decided it's not for them and they've left, and they're much happier.
Go to New Zealand. I've been to a lot of countries. I've lived in Germany. I studied abroad in New Zealand, visited all throughout Europe, Asia, all that. New Zealand is the best place I've ever been. As a single black woman who was working out there for 2 months studying abroad, I've never felt safer. I was catching the bus at night, walking back to my house at night, all by myself. I was a little nervous at first, don't get me wrong, because that's the American in me, but I was literally never bothered. One time I just looked lost downtown and cops walked up to me and they were like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, do you need help?" Super genuine, like super genuine. The people there are super nice. There's such a the Kiwis are my favorite group of people next to the Irish. Wellington has a large LGBTQ presence. Like, they have a freaking rainbow street. You will be the only black person out there, though. Just a warning. It's just gonna be you.
Only for black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them and they've left.
Listen, if you are a young black individual and you are considering moving abroad, do it. Just do it. I've been living in Mexico for a few months now, and it has single-handedly been the best decision I've ever made in my whole 30 years. I've never been so loved, so embraced, so included, so valued. When I tell you that black people in Mexico right now are thriving, these are some of the most happiest, stress-free black people that I've ever seen. Do what you need to do. Get your ducks in a row. Quit the job. Leave the hometown. Sell your stuff and just go, y'all. That's what I did. I'm 30 years old. I quit my job at 13 years. I've never lived away from home, ever. This is my first time ever moving away. And I just left. You can do it too.
This TikTok is only for black people who have lived in America and decided it's not for them.
Hola gente, que la que hay, yo soy negra, yo vivo en Puerto Rico, and I moved from the United States. And I'm just gonna stop you before you say anything. Oh, well, Puerto Rico's a part of the United States. Puerto Rico is the United States. No, shut up. Puerto Rico is a colony. It's under colonial rule. That is different. But Puerto Rico is its own country with its own cultural norms and everything like that. So before you want to comment that, just stop. But anyways, I decided to move here because yo hago lo que me da la gana. And yo quería mejorar mi español. And many different other reasons that I can talk about at another time. Entonces me encanta Puerto Rico, pero es muy importante para mí to not romanticize Puerto Rico as a non-Puerto Rican, because there is still a lot of things going on with the government and everything. So it has improved my life, but I still want to bring awareness to things going on.
This TikTok is only for black people who have lived in America and decided it's not.
Yeah, no, I had to go. And now I'm sharing my 2 cents because I've talked to some folks in the comments of that video. I've also been sent the video a couple times, and I got some stuff to get off my chest. Immediately after graduating from university, I started working for a literal Trump supporter, and I could see the cycles that I was beginning to perpetuate. My therapist, on top of that, had shared with me very wise advice that you cannot heal where you have been hurt. And as a black woman and a queer person, I realized there were too many spaces within the United States where I had physically been hurt. And then understanding that I carry the DNA, the blood, the spirit of all those other people who came before me, I said, babes, I can't break generational curses in this environment. So my first stop is Madrid, Spain. And to be real honest with y'all, I haven't had a better experience. I haven't made the types of relationships that I'm fostering currently. And best of all, I'm seeing an improvement in myself. Like, y'all, I have a daily routine. And as someone who struggles with anxiety and depression and who also is an undiagnosed neurodivergent person, that's huge.
And they're much happier as a black person outside of America. Where'd you go and what's it like?
So I have friends that live in Mexico, Colombia, and they love it. It's very diverse. I, on the other hand, I've been living in East Africa for 9 months now. And I love it. I just love the simplicity. I love not having to look over my shoulder. I love the community. I love the sense of belonging, the freedom. I love seeing Black people smile every day. That's what it is for me. It's just home, connection. You know what? I compare this to all the time whenever I'm out and I'm going somewhere to get me some food? I compare it to when I was a kid. A lot of this stuff reminds me of when I was a kid. It's weirdly nostalgic for me, but it reminds me of the good parts of the hood. You know, the candy lady, everybody knows everybody looks out for each other. That's what it feels like here. I love it.
Okay, I think we're calling this Blexit, but I have some criticisms or like friendly suggestions if this is something that we are thinking about doing. We have to remember that capitalism and anti-blackness exist everywhere. And I understand that the way that it manifests in America can be really overwhelming for black people, myself included. But trying to run from systems that are worldwide does not work in the long term. Like, yeah, maybe you and your children will have a good life living somewhere outside of the US where you have wealth and power. But that does nothing for the people that you're leaving at home or anyone else who does not have access to move. And also we run the risk, if we are not doing like the mental, like reframing and work, of recreating systems that already don't work for us. So if you are participating in Blexit, here are some suggestions. Really sit and think about how white supremacist ideologies live in your mind and try to rework that. By living outside of the US, you have a better chance of doing that. So like, I'm not super worried about that piece. However, I've said this before and I'll say it again, black capitalism will not save us. Please try not to exploit your neighbor. Secondly, try to make moves to like bring your community with you and build more of a cooperative than exists here in America. I'm really talking about community building, bringing your family, your friends into the new space that you're in, and also helping the community that exists already in the space that you're in. We're not trying to be Christopher Columbus and say we're claiming a new world. I think it's important to remember, lastly, that you're still trying to live outside of the dominant society. So practicing abolition, anti-capitalism, cooperation, growing your own food, all of those beautiful concepts should be following you into that new space that you're going into, not capitalism and white supremacy, okay?